Ian, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been? Hello, brother Miles. How you today? I'm doing great. Comatose. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Dennis, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Manny, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Evening. Free and Forever, good to see you. How you doing? Good evening. How you been? Shakira, good to see you. How you doing? Hi from Malaysia. How's everyone doing today? How's things? JP, good evening. Miles is on CMF. Good to see you. JP, how you doing, brother? How you been? All right, let's do a breakdown of what we're going to be talking about on tonight's live. Because on tonight's live, we have news regarding BlackRock. We have news regarding many other institutions giving their perspectives on the market space. We have US House government members coming out and talking about what 2025 is going to be like under a Trump presidency, what expectations we could possibly have for the crypto space, essentially. So here it is. This is what we're going to be talking about on tonight's episode of the CMF Live. By the way, episode 234 of the CMF Live one right now. So we're going to be talking about essentially BlackRock, first of all, and how they've had a massive outflow since the start of the year. While XRP, XLM, HBAR, and Cardano and XDC have been having quite a good start to a year, and Bitcoin and Ethereum have had a quite slightly bad start to the year. They've had the most amount of outflows happening on ETF spaces. Then we're going to be talking about essentially the FDIC. Now, I've revealed previously how the FDIC was the one stifling banks from using, essentially working alongside crypto companies and so on. And Coinbase was the one that came up with the idea that it is the FDIC that is stifling essential crypto companies and banks from working together. Well, today we have more letters that have been exposed of how the FDIC has been controlling the US banks to not work with crypto companies. Then we're going to be talking about on tonight's live regarding FTX. Now, recently, the last time I talked about FTX, I said that they're getting ready to, at some certain stage to release some payments. Well, it turns out FTX is getting ready to release payments this year. Not even this year, but it looks like they're getting ready to release payments this month, which is actually a positive side for the crypto space. And I'll explain what I mean once we get to that news. Then we're going to be talking about essentially Trump and the backed Mike Johnson rep, essentially elected Speaker of the House. The House Speaker, Mike, essentially is a pro-crypto advocate. He's never talked about bad anything regarding crypto assets, and he has just been chosen essentially to do another term. And he is pro-crypto, and he is the one also that voted for the FIT21 bill. And he now has, alongside the rest of Republicans, a majority vote for anything that happens crypto-wise or anything else. Then we're going to be talking about essentially companies embracing Bitcoin strategy and doubling down in 2025. Because as we go more into 2025, we're going to have a lot more regulations in place and a lot more ETFs happening and so on, which is all positive for Bitcoin on their end. Then we're going to be talking about the US likely to buy 300 to 4,000 Bitcoins in 2025, a perspective coming from Devo Group's CEO. So once we get to that news, I'll reveal what I mean and what he did say. Then we're going to be talking about FalconX, which is a platform that essentially is involved inside the market space, but now they've just acquired the first ever crypto derivatives platform that is approved by the CFTC, happening inside the US market space. Then we're going to be talking about South Korea in terms of their officials coming out and saying, we need to get more involved inside the crypto space. We need to get more involved inside the ETF space, start connecting the institutional space with the crypto space. And then we're going to be going through news topics related to essentially crypto and ESG. Now, ESG is the whole environmental, social, and governance side of cryptocurrencies. There is a few crypto projects that do, fit into that category of ESG. Now, ESG is also what companies fit into under as well. And I'll reveal what crypto projects fit on the category of ESG and why ESG is important to not only governments, but also to institutions. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live regarding the matters of crypto.com. Last year, towards the end of the year, I revealed that crypto.com is getting ready to not just become a crypto app, but to also become a stocks app, a derivatives app, a ETF space. And that this is going to be quite, exceptionally good for Crow, their own official token. And I'll reveal to you how close crypto.com is and have they released any sort of, platforms on these features. Then we're going to be talking about Richmond, the Fed president. A Fed president has came out and said basically that 2025 is going to be an exceptional year. And then we're going to be talking about tonight's live regarding China. China, essentially their financial crisis situation is deepening. But I'll reveal to you why that is actually good news in a way. Once we get to that news regarding China, maybe sliding downhill, and I'll reveal to you what I mean by good news on that matter. Then we're going to be talking about Russia in terms of their new bill. Russia said previously, just like any other country, that they will never force any of their banks or any of their essentially merchants or any sort of business to use the Russian CBDC, because Russia said, just like any other country, that CBDCs are optional. If you want to use CBDCs and if you don't want to use CBDCs, it doesn't matter because it's optional. Turns out CBDCs are not really optional in Russia, and they're not going to be optional whenever they are released in your own jurisdictions as well. And I'll review what I mean once we get to that news as well. So, before we go through any of those news topics on tonight's live, just want to say to everyone watching right now, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this is episode 234 of the CMF Live, which is incredible, by the way. And on this live, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. And the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. And we also do Q&As on this live as well, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So, here it is. Let's go inside the comment section first before we go through the first news. The first news we are going to be covering is regarding BlackRock. But let's go inside the comment section first, and then we'll go straight into the BlackRock news and then back to the comment section news. Let's see where we were at. We were at here inside the comment section, I think. Yeah. Hello, Miles. Today I'm allowed to get on my verified account. Let's go, Scott. JP, doing great. Thanks. How you cold? Yeah, the UK is extremely cold. Green screen is glitching. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it does that. What's up, Miles? What's up, CMF? Kerry, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Happy New Year, Miles and CMF. I'm back from my vacation. Nice to see you. Orphan, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Happy New Year's as well. Scott, let's go. Good evening, Miles and all CMF talk. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Good evening, Miles and CMF. Bullock Soppy, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How's your day been, Miles? Lena, it's been good. Very busy, I'll be honest. How's your day been, Lena? Good to see you as well. How you been? Good evening, brother Miles. Funky brother, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Evening, Miles and CMF. Pierce, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? How you been? Evening, CMF. Let's go, funky brother. Hi, Miles. Happy New Year's to you, mate. And all the same. Let's go, Adi. Adi, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Happy New Year's as well. Hi, brother. Camel, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles and all. And CMF. George, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? He's okay. We'll take him. Lol. Hello to my CMF family on YouTube. Happy New Year. Let's go, Scott. Happy New Year. Good evening, Miles. How are you doing? How have you been? I've been doing good. How you been, Cali? How's things? Hi, Miles and all the CMF. Hope you are all fine. It is time to turn on my CMF TV for facts news. Have you heard about the Light Chain Protocol bridging AI with decentralization blockchain community? Carl, I haven't. I haven't looked into the project regarding the name of Light Chain Protocol. I haven't looked into it whatsoever, but I can take a look into it. Direct message me. I'll take a look into it, give you a perspective on it. No problem. Hi, Miles. Artistic, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? Morning. How you been? Miles, is it true that by March, all the banks will be using and implementing ISO 20 tokens? On the topic of by March, all banks will be around the world be using essentially ISO tokens. Rumors, not correct. It's not factual information in any sort of way. It's more of a rumor type of scenario that's been happening inside the crypto space. No, it's not true. It's just rumors. Are banks eventually going to be using essentially ISO tokens and so on, or ISO projects that can be compliant to the ISOs of 22 or ISOs of 27. Yes, that's going to happen. 22 is a messaging service and 27 is securities. But yeah, it's going to be happening. Rumors for now, but it is going to be happening. Hello, Miles and family. Mickey, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles. Suze, good to see you. How you doing? How you been, Suze? CMF, we have a powerful voice in Miles. Let's use him wisely, a true leader. Let's go, Scott. Hi, Miles. Why is China news virus is bad and causing dumping in coins? China's news on the virus situation, it's just another pandemic, another distraction. Look, they tried to do the distraction with the whole alien situation in the US. Nobody really brought it. Nobody couldn't care less. It's got to a stage where the human race in general couldn't care less about anything else. So the government can come out and say, we have a new pandemic on our hands. I think the majority of people won't fall for the same trick twice. The government came out and said there are aliens that are going to be coming towards Earth. They're showing videos on the news in America. Nobody cares. They're trying pretty much every distraction possibly in the book to distract you before something else happens. Now, the most major event that's going to be happening this year, continuing forward, is CBDCs and social credit systems. Now, before CBDCs and social credit systems happen, a lot of things did happen. For example, one of them being COVID, because COVID was an indicator to move away from cash, which they needed us to do to go towards a digital world. Everything was a setup. But the whole China situation, the whole virus situation, it's just another distraction. It's another distraction for something that's about to be happening. We already know what's going to be happening. CBDCs and essentially social credit systems is what's going to be happening. This is why I say position yourselves perfectly so you don't get trapped in any of these scenarios. Even Miles and CMF, Jason, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles, is ISO only for banks to switch in March? No, it's not only for banks to switch in March. Technically, yes, but also institutions can do the same. Evening, Miles and CMF, Jason, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Semper, evening, Miles and CMF peeps, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles, what's the minimum amount of XRP is you recommend? Whatever you can afford. Hi, Miles, G, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Yo, Scott. Will we, in your opinion, see the biggest parabolic rise of altcoins in the first half of 2025? Will we see the most parabolic, essentially, bull market space for altcoins in 2025 in the first half? Well, in the first half, if we consider the facts that essentially January 20th is Trump coming into power, January 20th is Gary Gensler resigning and a new SEC chairman happening, could be a few days after that as well, and then we're going to have rules and regulations and no more FDIC to stifle banks and work on crypto companies. Look, these are all positive signs, so it is a possibility, not a possibility, but a extremely high chance that we're going to be having a massive parabolic run. But this year in general is going to be an excellent year for the crypto space. Amazing year for the crypto space, to be fairly honest. How much impact will Japan's adoption of XRP on the price? Have they started this already? Gradual increase, or can we expect same movements, some sort of same movements? Japan hasn't started already regarding XRP. Good questions, Wishay. Japan hasn't started already on XRP in any sort of a way. They have announced it previously. They announced it multiple times throughout 2024 that they're going to be doing this. And Japan is going to be doing this as well. They are going to be releasing, essentially, they are going to be purchasing XRP because it's SBI. SBI has came out multiple times. And it's not just a random employee from SBI. It is essentially their executive board members or their CEOs and so on that have came out and talked about how SBI Ripple and SBI XRP and so on, and how 80% of banks will be running on XRP. If 80% of banks run on XRP in essentially the Japanese financial system, the other 20% have no choice but to join XRP as well. But they haven't started yet because they need rules and regulations in place. But if they do start, what's the impact on XRP? It's going to be exceptional, is what it's going to be. Seriously, it's going to be exceptional. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, BlackRock is the first news we're going to go through on tonight's live. BlackRock has essentially recorded the largest Bitcoin ETF outflows for Bitcoin and Ethereum. by the looks of it. So as we've just entered essentially 2025, XRP doing incredibly well for itself, XLM doing incredibly well for itself, and a few other crypto projects showing exceptional movements as well. At the same time, BlackRock's iShare Bitcoin Trust saw a memorable essentially outflow on the first trading day of 2025. This was the largest day outflow since the beginning of since the Bitcoin ETF started trading 1 year ago. BlackRock's IBIT registered a $332.62 million in outflows, essentially, making it its highest outflows recorded on a single day since its launch on January 11, 2024. The outflows, the community saw an aggravated essentially of $392.6 million pulled out of the fund in 3 consecutive days. The latest outflows may be considered as a normal expected change in highlighting dynamics within the volatility of cryptocurrency market space. The digital asset markets are recognized for their extreme price fluctuations, super volatile essentially, and can cause investors to take caution, influencing them to look for safer havens for their funds. Especially macroeconomic conditions like changes in interest rates and others can change investors' risk tolerance. While BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF is essentially witnessing huge outflows, rivals are recording more positive inflows. Bitwise and Fidelity and ARC21 shares registered inflows of $48.3 million and $36.2 million. According to data from essentially Spot on Chain, meanwhile, ARC21 shares, Grayscale Mini and Van Inc. also recorded inflows of $16.5 million and $6.9 million, and a $5.5 essentially million as well. BlackRock's ETF remains a prominent essentially participant inside the US market space. Last year, it was third in inflows among all US ETFs, drawing $37.2 billion. It followed iShares IVV, which gained $89 essentially billion as well, and Vanguard's VOO, which essentially collected $116 billion. Besides that, too, the Ethereum ETFs also witnessed an interesting outflow at the exact same time. A total of $77.51 million was an outflow from Ethereum and was withdrawn from the funds. According to Spot on-chain data, the outflows originated from Bitwise's ETH ETF and Grayscale's ETH ETF as well, which expected outflows of $56.11 million and $21.4 million. The remaining 7 Ether ETFs, as highlighted on the Spot on-chain data, never saw outflows during the second day of January 2025. So apparently BlackRock has had its first ever massive outflow since the day Bitcoin ETF was launched on essentially BlackRock. BlackRock has pretty much had its first ever massive outflow of Bitcoin essentially in 2025. Interesting time period, I'll be honest with you, because we're going towards more regulations, more institutional money, a pro-crypto president, a essentially Republican crypto, so on. Everything's very pro-crypto, and we're going to 2025, and BlackRock just had its worst, possibly the worst day ever regarding Bitcoin ETFs. While XRP, XLM, and a few other crypto projects are bringing in numbers. Interesting time period, I would have to say. Now, moving on essentially from BlackRock to the FDIC. But before we go through the FDIC news and Coinbase news, let's go to the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's see where we were at. We were at here. Mouse, can you please explain how to take profits? Currently have portfolio in Tangem, just want to know the process. Sure. Regarding the process, I've laid out 8 steps on how to take profits, 8 different ways on how to take profits. And I've put them inside a Telegram group, Suze, which you're a part of as well. If you're a CMF mod watching this right now, please send Suze the 8 different ways on how to take profits. Now, regarding your crypto assets being on Tangem, how would you take profits on that matter? You could do it 2 ways. You could send your crypto assets to exchanges and essentially convert them into stable coins, or you can convert your assets to stable coins on the Tangem app itself. I could send you a link if you want, Suze. Direct message me or direct message one of the CMF mods, and they will send you the eight different ways of how to take profits. It's very simple. I made the document, so it's very simple for everyone to follow. 8 different ways of how to take profits. And regarding your assets being on Tangem, I'll give you a step-by-step as well on how to take profits through an exchange or essentially through Tangem itself if you want to. Not recommended, but if you want to. So direct message Sue, direct message one of the CMF mods. If you want, direct message Shelly, because I know you're friends with Shelly. So direct message Shelly if you want, or anybody else inside of CMF, in terms of the mods. And someone will send you the plan of 8 different ways of how to take profits. And I'll send you personally the other one, the tangent pods. Hope that helps. Hi, Miles and CMF Stormy. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Miles, I share your program a lot. Could this be a reason I was suspended because of multiple but similar posts? I'm doubtful. Maybe. I'm not sure, I'll be honest. Maybe. Stop. I don't think so, actually, possibly. I don't think so. World Economic Forum is coming up. Do you know who will be taking part in those meetings? I was reading AI is going to be a topic. Yes, in the World Economic Forum, AI is definitely going to be playing a topic. CBDCs will definitely be playing a topic as well, because this is the year of CBDCs. Social credit systems will always be a topic on that matter, but they name it as ESG instead of social credit systems. These will be the topics on that matter. I just posted it on Telegram. Thank you, Kerry, for that. Legend. Thank you, Miles. No problem, Suze, anytime. And thank you, Kerry, for that as well. Now, FDIC and Coinbase. So Coinbase has been suing the FDIC for a while now, because they always essentially suspected that the FDIC was the one essentially. Miles, doesn't selling or swapping on Telegram affect the fact that your wallet is a cold storage? Yes, it does. That's why I said I don't recommend it, but it is an option. Yeah, Shelly, you are correct. That's why I've always said I don't recommend it. And I did say it now as well. I don't recommend it, but it's an option. Yeah. FDIC. FDIC has always been the one that's stifling banks. Coinbase has always suspected that the FDIC has been the one that's stifling banks, and they were correct. The FDIC had to release some letters that they essentially sent out to banks to not work with crypto companies inside the US, and they released these letters to the courts, and the courts essentially handed these letters over to Coinbase. Well, today we essentially got notice that Coinbase has received more letters from the FDIC on how they were stifling banks, and it's all through the courts. So the Operation Choke Point 2.0, that's essentially most people inside the crypto space said is a myth or so on. It's more every day becoming that it wasn't a myth and it was an actual operation to stifle a few crypto projects that really wanted to work with banks inside the US. But the good thing is the FDIC chairman has resigned. Now, the FDIC is always resigning at the same time as Gary Gensler. The FDIC OCP 2.0 letters expose alleged anti-crypto campaigns. The FDIC told banks to stop working with crypto firms like Coinbase, and this rise essentially fears that crypto will be cut off from traditional banking, similar to the 2013 Operation Choke Point, essentially 2.0. Coinbase and other crypto companies argue that these secretive actions harm their businesses and customers, as lawmakers investigate the future of crypto banking is unclear. Recently, a multitude of letters were released from the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, revealed a plan to prevent banks from doing essentially business with cryptocurrency companies. It was after a court order that asked for more transparency from the FDIC that Coinbase Global Inc. fully received the documents it has been seeking for so long. These so-called pause letters instructed the banks to halt or delay operations concerning cryptocurrencies. The revelation has fueled an uproar that the agency had methodology essentially tried to dismantle the crypto trade's link with banking, a move that observers have called Operation Choke Point 2.0. Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul today came out and criticized the FDIC for not sharing these letters in the first place. He pointed out that the agency magically found 2 more pause letters, even though it has said before that it had fully followed the court's orders. Judge essentially Anne Reeves had already pointed out that the FDIC made too many reductions and ordered it to show fewer censored materials. Recently released letters show that banks were instructed to halt or pull back their cryptocurrency projects, from basic Bitcoin trading operations to more complex digital asset investment plans. It has been described as the original Operation Choke Point, and in 2013, the Department of Justice initiated a program. And it was designed as a measure of bringing regulatory pressure on banks, essentially to solve their relationships with a number of high-risk but totally legitimate businesses, including payday lenders and gun dealers. In this crypto situation, the banks received some vague notice of regulations. As such, they were left uncertain, essentially, about whether it would bring unwanted attention or penalties upon them if they serve the customers of cryptocurrencies. These disclosures came at a time when there is even more pressure for clearer rules on how to oversee digital assets. Coinbase and others responded that these secretive efforts push real cryptocurrency businesses to move to other places with easier rules. This situation creates more problems and consumers and the overall financial system. Critics essentially retreat that the regulators should bring in rules in the open instead of hiding them in essentially orders that harm the whole industry. So no more secret meetings should be happening with the banking space, with the FDIC going into a Trump presidency anymore, because Biden's presidency was all about scamming and essentially secret meetings. Congressional hearings may be on the horizon, since lawmakers are very interested essentially in starting with Representative French Hill, who wants to look into and, if possible, change any unfair federal actions on crypto assets. Donald Trump had appointed people to look after it. They will help agencies like the FDIC and the SEC find a better balance. David Sachs, one of the people that suggested essentially by the crypto Caesar, might look more closely at these letters while reviewing crypto regulations thoroughly, and the edited versions do not conceal the FDIC's apprentices regarding crypto in banking. It appears that banks have been instructed to limit or delay essentially digital asset services, which may slow innovation in regulated financial areas. But going into a Trump presidency, that's all about to change. The prominents say that this strict regulation essentially protects consumers and the trustworthiness of the banking space. However, some have argued that closing off crypto could cause more problems in another area essentially and hold back a potentially promising new segment of financial technology. The battle between federal agencies and crypto enthusiasts suggests a deeper tension in American financial regulation space. Rather than obscure backroom such interventions, it is openness, transparency, and consistency of the rules they demand. It is precisely against this and the federal agency balance the risk of unregulated assets against the benefits of fostering growth in the emerging technological sectors. Eventually, we will see whether such new discoveries create big policy changes or maintain essentially and create Eventually, we'll see whether such new discoveries create big policies changes or maintain existing policies. However, the fact that Coinbase won the court does not indicate that the companies in cryptocurrencies are getting bolder essentially about fighting against the rules, and may at least push these rules to become much more clearer. So Coinbase has just revealed more letters essentially on how the FDIC was actually stifling banks. Now, the FDIC did claim the first time around that they weren't stifling banks, and there's no such thing as Operation Choke Point 2.0. But then they released some letters, but censored the letters and sent it off to Coinbase and the courts, which then the courts essentially asked the FDIC to stop censoring their letters and just send them what they actually sent to the banks if they never did anything wrong. Well, today we just found out that essentially the FDIC was actually stifling banks on a large scale. That's one of the main reasons why companies like Ripple or essentially XDC or HBAR or XLM were having difficulties working with American financial systems, because of the FDIC chairman, because of people like Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler. Three people were pretty much running the show. Now, you could possibly say that there are people above those three people that were also running the show, but on paper, there was three people who were stifling the essentially America's growth inside the digital sector in general. It was three people: Senator Elizabeth Warren, Gary Gensler, and the FDIC chairman. That's all it took. It only took three people to stifle an entire country. One was controlling the banking systems, one was suing the crypto companies, and the other one was just bad-mouthing them in front of Congress. Elizabeth Warren was bad-mouthing crypto in front of Congress. Gary Gensler was suing crypto companies to stifle them. And essentially, the FDIC chairman was stopping banks from working with crypto companies. 3 people run the entire show. The good thing is those 3 people have come to an end. Well, 2 of them have. The other one could just be by herself. Honestly, there are always a positive, which is both of them are resigning. Now, before we go through the next news, let's go inside the comment section first. And the next news is actually quite a big positive one. It's regarding the FTX. And it is positive news. And we haven't talked about FTX for a long time because there wasn't much news about it until today. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see what's going on there. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. Be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's see where we were at. We were at here. Mouse, sale on Telegram, unset, safe saying. Employees, elaborate. We are witnessing Ethereum's developments not reflect on its token's price at all. Will ACH go the same route, or will the token's price reflect their success with partnerships? It will definitely affect essentially their price regarding their partnerships because they're playing 2 different roles. So regarding Ethereum, it's very different. Ethereum is playing a very different role to ACH. ACH is being used for payments. Ethereum is just being used as a backbone to build on. So 2 different things. So regarding, will we see it essentially reflected on essentially the token prices, movements, and so on? Yes, we would be seeing that. Yes, ACH Pay seems like a non-starter. Every crypto project seems like a non-starter unless every crypto project seems like a non-starter, and then it starts and you get left behind because you didn't go into it when it was a non-starter. Greetings, Miles and CMF. Very good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles, can you have 2 separate Tangent accounts on one phone? Yes, you can. If you want to have 2 separate, essentially, Tangent accounts on one phone, it is very possible. It's actually quite easy to do. All you have to do is open your Tangent app, click on your potential portfolio at the top right-hand corner, and then click on, so the part where it says wallet, underneath it says get new wallet or new wallet in general. Click that, add a second wallet in. So yes, you can. Miles, swapping coins on Tangent is not safest. It's not the safest option, no. An exchange can exchange block account if they wanted to? Yes, crypto exchanges can block your accounts if they wanted to, but they would have to have some sort of reasonings, and sometimes they don't. Good Friday, Miles, and Good Friday, family, and Miles. Golden Dragon, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? BTC turns 16. Let's go, Orphan. Now, FTX. This is actually good news regarding FTX. Now, FTX was one of the biggest downfalls inside the crypto space, but its return is actually one of the most positive signs inside the crypto space because FTX, throughout these years, decided to sell off essentially a lot of the assets that it did have because they were getting prepared to pay back everyone. Now, everybody's fear was that essentially FTX is going to be essentially, paying back everybody in fiat or so on, which could disrupt the market space. But instead, FTX is getting prepared, not only this year, but apparently this month, to start paying back everybody in stable coins. So if FTX is going to pay back everybody in stable coins, it's actually going to bring some positivity inside the crypto space. Because if they were going to pay back everybody in the assets they originally owned when FTX went downhill, so people own Solana, for example, FTX sent them back Solana or sent them back Ethereum or whatever, there was a chance that they might sell. But because everybody's getting paid out in stable coins, there's a high chance that that money is going to re-enter the crypto space, which means it's a positive sign this month, especially if they do stick to their timeline. So here it is, FTX. FTX payments set to boost crypto markets with billions in returnings. Eyes are essentially impeding on FTX repayments, regarded as one of January's most significant bullish developments. The time has come for FTX to complete a substantial portion of its repayments within the next 3 months. This process indicates the potential return of billions of dollars into the cryptocurrency market space, even as altcoins have yet to approach their 2021 peaks. FTX repayments means that the return of at least $6 billion in stablecoins and the cash to victims. Many cryptocurrency traders have previously engaged in futures position in altcoins on the FTX exchange. However, it was revealed in December 2022 that the exchange had been largely emptied, leading to the conversion of remaining crypto into cash for essentially creditors. With the approval of the bankruptcy plans essentially today, repayments to investors will commence. The expectation that at least a portion of the billions will return to altcoins is viewed as strong bullish signals. The bankruptcy committee announced earlier today the FTX debtors reconstructing plan takes effect today. This date also essentially marks the first distribution record date for eligible claimants and the plan's eligibility classes. Separate records and payment dates for other essential creditors and classes will be announced later on today as well. To qualify for payments, customers and other creditors must complete a pre-distribution conditions, including selecting a distribution agent on the essentially FTX debtors customer portal page. And more details of this can be found on the FTX essentially claim essentially subdomain. And FTX's debtors also reminded that their customers to be cautious about phishing emails appearing and coming from FTX debtors and fraudulent essentially posing as the FTX company. Yes, it is true. Look, FTX is getting prepared to refund everybody starting today, which is big news. Because the more stablecoins that enter the market space to the people that lost money off FTX, the higher the chance that those people are going to be re-entering the market space because they have stable coins, which means they're going to go for their favorite essentially altcoins. Or if they really wanted to, they could go for Bitcoin, not recommended, but they could go for their favorite altcoins essentially. So that's a positive note that's going to be happening essentially today. So FTX downfall damaged the crypto space. FTX essentially, refunding people is what's going to help to uplift the crypto space. But if you're also somebody that was affected by FTX, you can go to FTX's website, go to their claim page and claim whatever crypto assets you did lose by choosing where you want to be paid out from. Obviously, you would have to prove, you did own some assets on FTX before you can get paid out. Not anyone could just get paid out by signing up, but go check it out. Now, but generally, that is a massive big news, and it was released today from FTX. So that's going to be quite a good one. Trump, what we're going to talk about next is regarding Trump and essentially House Representatives. But before we do that, let's go to the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. We're more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section. We were at here. Even Miles and CMF, Peg, good to see you. How you doing, Peg? How you been? Many thanks, Miles. I will write that down now. Let's go in. How's it going, Miles? Zach is going great. Good to see you. How you doing, Zach? How you been? Miles, tell me which mount coin I need. I see 6 coins portfolio. Is this good? Yeah, that's good. FTX dumped the markets and now FTX can pump the markets. Pretty much, yeah. I missed that. Refunding stablecoins? Yes. So, Shelly, FTX is going to be refunding starting today about $6 billion. Not all the $6 billion will be refunded today, but they're going to be releasing it starting today. A portion of that $6 billion in stablecoins back to users who lost money on FTX exchange, which is going to bring positivity towards the crypto space because they're more likely to re-enter because now they're holding stablecoins. So about $6 billion should be pumping through the crypto space. FTX is not good. FTX is not goofed. FTX is not a good exchange in any sort of a way, but what they're doing now is going to be bring positivity to the crypto space, to be fairly honest. Personally, I've never used FTX exchange. I never trusted the weasel that ran the FTX exchange. It always looked a bit of a creep. What do you think about Matic? What do I think about Matic? Good project. I wouldn't say it's a must-have project in any sort of a way, but it's a good project. Wow, that's bullish. Yes, incredibly bullish. Now, Trump backed Mike Johnson, re-elected essentially Speaker of the House. Now, Mike Johnson, the representative Mike Johnson, is quite pro-crypto. And he is essentially backed by Trump, and he is going to be running the show once again. So, essentially Mike Johnson from Louisiana, representative from Louisiana, will get to keep the big gavel after his fellow Republicans voted to re-elect him as House Speaker. And this was essentially today, and I'll tell you why this is quite a massive positive news for the crypto space in general in America. So Johnson has been publicly backed by President-elect Donald Trump and was able to essentially gather the minimum 218 votes that was needed for him to win the job in the first round of voting. Through he had to essentially pursue two of his fellow Republicans, Rep. Ralph and essentially Rep. Keith, who initially voted for other candidates to change their votes to him. With Republicans only having a razor-thin margin of control of the House, Johnson could only afford to lose one vote, which he did to Rep. essentially Thomas, and no vote came as a no surprise. He previously told former Reps Matt that he would literally withstand torture before voting for Johnson. Instead of Macy essentially voted for Rep. Tom Hemmer, and the majority whip and longtime supporters of crypto industries, Tom Hemmer, voted for Johnson. Today's voting process, the first order of business at the start of the 119th Congress took only 2.5 hours in total, a much swifter and more streamlined process than ever before in previous elections in October. And 2023 saw Mike Johnson being elected was 2023 until now. Though Johnson has not been very outspoken about crypto essentially issues, he has widely considered to be a friend to the industry. He previously voted for the Financial Innovations and Technologies 21st Century Act, which is basically commonly known as FIT 21, and the Anti-Central Bank Digital Currency CBDC bill. Johnson's re-election and Tom Hemmer's continued position as a majority whip means that crypto-friendly members of Congress are likely well-positioned to push crypto legislations in 2025. So, not only do we have a massive, essentially pro-crypto president, thank God Donald Trump won, but we also have now a massive, essentially, play in terms of voting power when it comes to Congress for crypto decisions. So no more, essentially, the liberals, essentially, and the Biden circus freaks trying to stifle crypto innovation. Simplest way to put it. But that's actually, honestly, that is exceptionally amazing news regarding Congress having the power it needs to bring and pass the crypto, essentially, policies and legislations at a much more quicker pace than ever before. Now, moving away, essentially, from Congress having the voter power it needs going to 2025 after January 20th to Bitcoin. Now, as we go more into 2025, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies in general are going to be having an amazing year ahead of themselves. The moment Trump comes into power. And that's only because we're getting the correct regulations in place. America's going to become the capital hub. Rules and regulations mean banks, institutions, no more gray areas, and so on. No positivity. And here is something that's came out. So companies embrace Bitcoin strategy doubling in 2025. The number of companies adapting Bitcoin as a treasury strategy will double by 2025. This increase essentially is expected to lead to a significant rise in Bitcoin's value. In a recent market update, the host of Invest Answers expressed that the doubling of companies holding Bitcoin could enable Bitcoin to reach new record levels. He emphasized the importance of supply and demand dynamics, suggesting that a decrease in supply combined with the entry of major players into the market could drive prices higher. If Bitcoin's supply is tampered with and long-term investors do not sell, prices will soar, Investor Answers said. According to Bitcoin Magazine Pro, there are currently 33 publicly traded companies holding Bitcoin. The largest among them is MicroStrategy, which essentially holds roughly 444,262 Bitcoins. At the time of writing, Bitcoin is trading at $98,500, having recorded essentially a 2.4% increase in the last 24 hours. Thanks to the new Financial Accounting Standards Board, the FASB, in terms of rules, it has become easier for more companies to transition to a Bitcoin treasury strategy. This development supports the predictions that the number of companies holding Bitcoin will double by the end of 2025. The increase in companies adapting the strategy of adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets may positively impact Bitcoin's market value and liquidity. In conclusion, the growth of companies holding Bitcoin is seen as a significant step towards the adoption of digital assets. These developments could strengthen Bitcoin's value and market position, offering positive signals regarding its long-term potential for stakeholders. So, in reality, is Bitcoin's, in terms of company holdings, going to double in 2025? Yes, it definitely is. Because again, it's just based on the rules and regulations, every company following MicroStrategy's footsteps. If America actually comes out, if Donald Trump, in terms of Cynthia Luminis, they come out and go, today we're going to start our Bitcoin reserve journey. Every company is going to start buying Bitcoin, creating a Bitcoin essential reserve for themselves. And one person did ask me inside the CMF, that's essentially, why do all of these companies go towards Bitcoin? Why is every company lining up to buy more Bitcoin? And essentially my answer to that was, and I'm guessing a lot of people have that question on their minds, why does every company run towards Bitcoin? Why is every company trying to create a Bitcoin reserve or a Bitcoin treasury? What's the reasoning behind that? Look, the easiest way to put it is, it's not that just Bitcoin is going to be playing a role. A lot of crypto projects are going to be playing a role. But Bitcoin's role is to pretty much stand still. It's to be brought and set aside. The reasonings why a lot of companies aren't going to be essentially, creating a reserve of XRP, for example, is because XRP's purpose is to be used. XLM's purpose is supposed to be used. XDC's purpose is supposed to be used within a financial system. Same goes for XRP and XLM and HBOR and ADA and AVAX. These types of crypto projects, their purpose is to be used within the financial system, which is why they're not creating some sort of reserve assets for their portfolios. But Bitcoin's purpose is pretty much to stand still and liquidity. Because the only thing that Bitcoin has is a limited token supply. As long as Bitcoin has a limited token supply, it's a good asset to buy, leave on the sidelines if you're a company. Because especially if America comes out and goes, today we're going to start our Bitcoin reserve journey. I'm going to buy 10,000 Bitcoins. Every company is going to start buying Bitcoin because America is about to buy Bitcoin now. So if you ever wondered to yourself, why all these companies lining up to buy to create a Bitcoin reserve, is because, Bitcoin supply and Bitcoin to stand still liquidity. And the reason is why they don't create a reserve asset for any other crypto asset essentially out there, like XRP crypto reserve crypto reserve portfolio, or an XLM crypto reserve portfolio, or essentially a XDC crypto reserve portfolio, and so on. It's because these crypto projects are not supposed to stand still. They're supposed to be used within a financial system. Whereas Bitcoin has no purpose, just a limited supply. And Bitcoin maxis might not like it when I say that, but that's why they say the truth hurts. But even BlackRock said, that Bitcoin supply can be increased, and it can be, but it was interesting for BlackRock to say it. Now, before we go to the next news, which is also ironically related to Bitcoin, but it's a perspective coming from his CEO, which is DVAR Group's CEO. Before we go through his perspective, let's consider the conversation first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section. Let's see where we were at. We were at here. Is Quant still a future? Is Quant still a good project, is what you're trying to say? Yes, it's still a good project. Hello again, beautiful people. Thompson, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Let's go, Thompson. Miles, what is the worst outcome possible on Trump's case on 10th of January? Miles, what is the worst possible outcome on Trump's case on 10th of January? I don't personally think they're going to be putting Trump behind bars. I don't think any judge, I don't think any lawyer, I don't think anyone wants to go against Trump. They know Trump has won this already. It's done. It's dusted. So regarding the whole Trump case, it has to go away now. Because if any judge or if any lawyer or if any Congress member or any representative or any House member comes out and goes against Trump, you're going against the most powerful person in the world. Not just the most powerful person in America, but you're going up against the most powerful person in the world. And I don't think any weasel politician or weasel judge or weasel lawyer is going to risk their career to go up against Trump, because he has won. It's over. Trump has won. He's the next president of America starting January 20th. He's going to become the most powerful person in the world. I don't think there's any weasel judge or any weasel lawyer or any weasel House representative, Congress member that's going to go up against this man anymore, which means that whole case is done. There's no worst case scenario in any sort of a way. It's done. It's finished. Politicians are the most weasel people on this planet. So are judges and so are lawyers, to be fairly honest. I know a lot of lawyers. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. Bitcoin days are numbered concerning. So I don't possibly think there is any sort of worst case scenarios. It's done. It's finished. Bitcoin days, if they do try to still take him down, they must be morons. Because beforehand, Trump didn't have that much power. Beforehand, the judges will go against Trump. The judges were going against Trump. You know, Congress members were going against Trump. Politicians were going against Trump because he didn't have that much power. But now the tables are turned. Trump has his power back, which means if any judge or if any lawyer or if anybody goes against Trump, Trump is going to say, where's the evidence? And they're going to say, we don't have any. Because before, when Trump was asking, you know, for some evidence to be shown, they stifled them. They did corners around them. They didn't want to show him anything. But now Trump could turn around and say, where's the evidence? And they're going to say, we don't have any. Will Bitcoin crash not because of the coin for futures? Will Bitcoin crash because of that scenario? Because of ISOs? No. Bitcoin days are numbered concerning USDT. However, ISOs is coming into prominence due to the developments of regulations. Yes, regarding ISOs and essentially banks, institutions, and regulations and so on. Yes, let's go facts. It is true. Is it true 80% of Japanese banks will use XRP by 2025? Or is it rumors? No, it's true. 2025, 80% of banks, it's not a rumor, it is truth to that matter. SBI's CEO did say in his own words that 80% of banks will be using essentially XRP in 2025. So it's not a lie, it's not a rumor, and it is true. According to his words, that is exactly what he said. Miles, sir, Davey, good to see you. How you doing, Davey? How you been? They have already told him it's not a John Miles, yeah. Japanese use XRP and not Mexico or USA or England. No, everybody's going to be using Bank of International Settlements. Must be news channel manipulation for sure. Thanks for the clarity. No problem, XRP. Miles, something has been bugging me. Who is next in line if Trump dies? Does that mean cryptocurrencies will die too? Whoever is going to be JD Vance. No, I'm guessing it's going to be JD Vance probably next if Trump goes down. No, if Trump goes down, it doesn't mean crypto is going to die with him in any sort of a way. So this whole crypto plan is being coordinated since COVID times. The world going digital wasn't overnight. You know, cryptocurrencies didn't come out of nowhere and surprise everybody. Cryptocurrencies surprised the retail section, institutions and banks and so on. But the people who run the show, they weren't surprised. They were coordinating all these movements. You know, World Bank doing testings on blockchain being positive. And then COVID happens to move away people from cash, which was mentioned in the World Economic Forum. It was a step-by-step plan. The world was coordinated into going towards a digital world. They wanted you to learn about cryptocurrencies. They wanted you to learn how to use cryptocurrencies and wallets and so on. Everything was a step-by-step plan. So on that basis, if Trump does essentially, you know, sideline or something happens to him, would crypto die with him? No, because the world is still coordinated to go towards the digital world. So no, don't worry. But having a Trump presidency is obviously a good thing because things move faster. So crypto doesn't die if he does, you know, essentially something happens to him, but things move faster with him. Good evening, Jason. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Miles, some saying XRP reaches 100. Some saying XRP reaches $100. Yeah, considerable change. Thoughts on OT? Thoughts on OK OXT? I don't know. Essentially, I need to look into it regarding OXT to see what there is in development, so to give you a better perspective. Jason, direct message me on X. As I said previously, I don't charge any money. I'm completely free. Anybody can direct message me or call me or so on. Just gotta let me know 30 minutes before you call me. But anybody can direct message me or call me. I don't charge any money at all. I'm completely free of source. I've always been like that. So if Jason, if you want, you can direct message me regarding OXT crypto project. I'll take a look into their contracts and see what they're doing, what their developments are, to give you a better perspective. Otherwise, I can't give you a better perspective. I don't know what their developments are right now, or if they've raised any sort of money. JD Vance, then the Speaker of the House. Yeah, Did SBI's CEO say recently? Did he say it recently? No, he said a while ago. Miles, can you signal when you sell a coins I can sell at the same time? Yes, no problem. I'll definitely let everybody know once I do start selling off which crypto projects I'm selling off so that everybody else can do the exact same thing. Thank you. No problem, Jason. Anytime. Now, US likely to buy 300,000 or 400,000 Bitcoin in 2025. A perspective coming from Dever Group CEO. So here it is. The United States could acquire up to 400,000 Bitcoins in 2025, according to Nigel Green, the CEO of Dever Group. Green, known for his bullish crypto predictions, believes this essentially Bitcoin reserve would cement Bitcoin as a cornerstone of US financial policies and drive an unprecedented bull market, according to notes shared. Green's forecast follows Senator Cynthia Luminous's Bitcoin Act of 2024, which proposes acquiring 1 million Bitcoins over 5 years. While political negotiations may scale back the initial targets, Green says it is likely that the government will essentially acquire between 300,000 and 400,000 Bitcoins. This is more than an economic initiative. It's a geopolitical masterstroke, Green essentially stated. He emphasized that the US, in terms of their Bitcoin reserves, could bolster the dollar's dominance in an increasingly digital global economy. Despite potential challenges, including legislative hurdles, Green is optimistic about the market impact. The creation of a reserve of 300,000 to 400,000 Bitcoins will likely trigger a Bitcoin essentially bull run of an epic essential proportions, driving exceptional value creation and reshaping financial markets. In late 2024, Green essentially praised Donald Trump for announcing plans for crypto-friendly regulations and the $14 billion national Bitcoin reserve to strengthen the US economy and digital finance leaderships. So, Green, the CEO of Dever Group, came out and pretty much said what he estimates, backing essentially Cynthia Luminous' essentially perspective of that matter, of the 2024 Bitcoin Act, that prepare yourself, America could be on the way to purchasing 300 to 400,000 Bitcoins. If the US starts buying Bitcoin, 300 to 400,000, MicroStrategy is going to become an exceptionally powerful and wealthy, because MicroStrategy owns roughly about 444,262 Bitcoins. MicroStrategy is going to be having a field day with that one. Now, moving away, essentially the perspective that came out from that CEO to FalconX. FalconX acquires a Orbis Markets to expand derivatives market space. Now, why is this news interesting and important? Well, because this is the first ever derivatives crypto market space that is approved by the CFTC. The Communities and Futures Trading Commission, CFTC. Digital asset prime broker FalconX has announced its acquisitions of the Orbis Markets, a crypto derivatives-focused trading firm. FalconX already runs FalconX Bravo Inc., the first Commodities and Futures Trading Commission CFTC-approved swap dealer focused on cryptocurrencies and derivatives. The broker moved to expand its derivatives business and strengthen its position among other cryptocurrency derivatives dealers. For the effectiveness of their alliance and integrations, each firm presents essentially its strengths. For more context, the deal combines Orbis' systematic essentially trading expertise and FalconX's broad client base, large balance sheets, and regulatory leadership. FalconX's CEO believes that their fusion could help the essentially company tackle the growing demands for complex trading strategies and bespoke products. He said, "Together, we hope to set a new standard for transparency, scale, and innovation in digital asset market spaces." Ordinarily, Orbis Markets prides itself on its cross-market capabilities, which provides access to liquid tradings and opportunities. According to FalconX's statement release, this cuts across crypto-native venues and traditional venues on the on-chain protocols. Therefore, its acquisition in terms of will help FalconX to further deliver deeper liquidity and bespoke derivative solutions. It could equally offer a broader range of trading strategies. Speaking of the acquisitions, Orbis Markets CEO Joshua Lim acknowledged that by saying, Joining forces with FalconX achieves our shared mission of offering deep market liquidity, creative risk expressions and strategies, and hedging tools and transparency to crypto derivatives market spaces. Notably, this coincides with a season where there is significant growth in the rate of institutional investors in adoption of cryptocurrencies. MicroStrategy, one of the top institutional investors, has maintained Bitcoin's acquisition strategy. The software intelligence firm purchased an additional 2,138 Bitcoins for $209 million in the week ending December 29th. This much of this growing demand could be attributed to a positive regulatory momentum, the growth of exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and a derivatives market space. Similarly, Nexo's chief product officer cited by saying, increasing recognition of Bitcoin as a reserve asset, more Bitcoin and more crypto-related ETFs and ETPs, and a stronger adoption as drivers of current growth coming this year. So, the first ever CFTC approved, essentially, derivatives crypto market space is pretty much activated, and FalconX is the one that's just brought them out. The derivatives market space, this crypto market space, is going to give more access to institutions to be able to buy crypto assets at much more easier way than buying it from Binance or Coinbase if they wanted to do it. So if Wall Street wanted to buy, altcoins and so on, and they could mostly do it through ETFs, now they can go through the derivatives space through FalconX. And FalconX is the first one that's just been given a green light by the CTFC. To be fairly honest, I mean, the chairman of the CFTC, Rostam Benham, has always been quite pro-crypto compared to, obviously, the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler. But Rostam Benham might also be losing his job as well, the chairman of the CFTC. But he has been quite pro-crypto, to be fairly honest. And you can see signs of that. I mean, he's the one that he just, he approved FalconX and Orbos markets being the first crypto derivatives market spaces and so on. Perfect timing as well, because they saw it as a Trump presidency and thought, well, if we're going to do it any time, it's going to be now. Now, that's just more indications of what is essentially what is to come this year of being a massive pro-crypto year. Now, moving on essentially from the stronger crypto adoptions and so on of this year to South Korea. But before we talk about South Korea, let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the South Korean news. As I previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section. We were at here. Hi, Miles of CMF. Happy New Year. One love. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? One love. Miles, which coin will Elon Musk use? And Happy New Year as well, one love. Miles, which coin will Elon Musk use for X platform? Which crypto project would Elon Musk use for X, essentially, platform? Now, there's a few rumors going around. One of the rumors is that Elon Musk is going to be using, essentially, Dogecoin, because Elon Musk's favorite crypto project is Dogecoin. The other rumor is that Elon Musk is going to be using XRP, because it only makes sense if XRP's, if X is being announced essentially as the, half the world's payments are going to go through X and the Everything app and payments and so on. XRP makes a lot of sense in that sense. The other rumor is it's going to be XLM. That's going to be the backbone of X payments. What I can say is, look, it could go two ways. Actually, possibly it could go three ways. Either Elon Musk is going to start off with fiat payments, essentially, on X, through like a company like Stripe and so on, which they already have. The other method, sticking to the crypto methods, one method Elon Musk can use is he can accept one or two crypto projects. He can accept Bitcoin and Dogecoin or XRP and XLM and so on. The other way Elon Musk can do it is using a company like BitPay. Now, if you've used BitPay, you know what I'm talking about. But BitPay has access to about 1,000 crypto projects that they accept, roughly, or 100 crypto, 150 or 2,000 crypto projects and so on. But they can use a company like BitPay, for example, that accept a multitude of crypto assets. So there's two ways of going about it regarding X payments. We don't know which crypto project he's going to be choosing. There are rumors all over the place. It could be XRP, it could be XLM, it could be Dogecoin, it could be Bitcoin, it could be whatever. But the two predictions I would possibly have is it's either going to be he's going to choose two crypto projects or one, or he's going to choose a company like BitPay to be the backbone, which means a multitude of crypto assets will be accepted. Now, that's what I would say. Now, let's move on the next question. We were here. Miles, is the Don in the crypto space? Follow for crucial information. Let's go, one love. Thank you so much for the kind words. Okay, South Korea. South Korea's officials eyes crypto ETFs and security token offerings to boost market competitiveness. In Bung-jing, the chairman of the South Korean exchange, has expressed interest in pursuing the approval of cryptocurrency ETFs as a part of efforts for the country's boost to the financial market space. South Korea has decided, essentially, to enter the crypto space a lot more in terms of connecting their institutional space with the digital space. So here it is. South Korea's media outlets, their own media outlets, the fact that reported that during his address that the 2025 Securities and Derivatives Markets opening ceremony on essentially in 2025, Jung stressed the importance of alternative assets like crypto ETFs to attract investors back to the market space, which has been shaken by political instability. According to him, the recent political turmoil essentially catalyzed a mass sell-off inside the stock market space, underscoring the need to diversify South Korea's economic landscape. Jung stated that the exchange would benchmark international cases to explore new sectors, such as cryptocurrency ETFs and other essentially areas of capital market spaces. He highlighted the potential of crypto ETFs to rejuvenate the market and appeal to both foreign and domestic investors. He also reaffirmed his commitments to South Korea's corporate essentially value up program, which aids investors in assessing company performance to drive value essentially enhancements. And he promised more new developments aimed at strengthening the country's financial markets, such as improving the market surveillance infrastructure, including the central essentially short selling inception system, and introducing a next generation surveillance system. Notably, Jung has been a prominent of essentially granting full government backing to cryptocurrencies in South Korea. He recently warned that failing to essentially institutionalize the crypto markets could hinder South Korea's competitiveness. He pointed out that cryptocurrencies trading volumes have already surpassed the domestic stock market, with the virtual cryptocurrency markets now exceeding an average daily trading volume of 20 trillion won, which is about $13.9 billion. Meanwhile, at the same event, the Financial Services Commission, the FSC, chairman Kim Bong-hing signaled strong interest in enabling security token offerings, STOs, in 2025. Kim described STOs as vital for diversifying securities and issuance and fostering crypto growth and corporate growth. Kim had earlier argued that South Korea should focus on integrating its digital asset markets with essentially existing financial systems instead of establishing a national Bitcoin reserve like some other countries are trying to do. In his latest speech, the country's securities regulators boast detailed plans to enhance the IPO system and introduce measures to essentially ensure fair and rational public offering prices for companies issuing essentially security tokens. He also noted efforts to institutionalize STO's fragmented investment platforms and stock platforms to expand the securities issuance and distribution systems. So, South Korea has publicly essentially came out and said that, one, we need to start connecting our institutional space to the digital space. Two, the reasonings why is because, one, the crypto space has actually overtaken our stock market in terms of market value bringing in. Three, Donald Trump is coming into power, which I've mentioned before, and that America is aiming for the hub of, the title hub of cryptocurrencies, and South Korea doesn't want to get left behind. Four, South Korea just once again mentioned that they don't want to get left behind from this digital world. And five is because when essentially South Korea went through this turbulence recently, a lot of assets were sold off from the stock market, and South Korea didn't have an alternative asset for people to jump into to go against the turmoil situation that was happening in South Korea, which now they suggested that cryptocurrencies could be the assets people could run towards when traditional market spaces fail. So, and all that is for 2025 as well, to be fairly honest. This year is going to be incredible. The moment Trump takes his seat, the entire world is watching. The entire world is watching every step Trump takes inside the digital space. and they're going to follow exact footsteps that Trump leaves behind. So Trump creates regulations, every country creates regulations. Trump creates a Bitcoin reserve, every country will create a Bitcoin reserve. Trump makes America great again and the capital of cryptocurrencies, every country will make their country great again, pretty much make the capital of cryptocurrencies. The great part, maybe not for some countries, but the capital of cryptocurrencies is a high possibility of following America's footsteps. Everyone follows America's footsteps. It's the largest market space in the entire world. If you don't, you're just stupid. And if you go against America's footsteps inside this market space, then you're just digging your own grave, to be fairly honest. Now, the next news we are going to be talking about is crypto and ESG. ESG is just another way of saying social credit systems for companies and for assets, believe it or not. So if you ever do come across something like ESG in terms of the World Economic Forum talking about it, ESG meetings and so on, it just means social credit systems, but they've named it something else. And what it basically stands for is environmental, social, and governance social credit systems. Now, why is ESG important, especially in 2025, especially this year, in other words? Well, because this year is all about a lot of countries coming out with their own CBDCs. The Russian ruble is coming out this year. India's expanding this year on their CBDCs. China's expanding on their CBDCs this year. Brazil is coming out with CBDC this year. The EU is coming up with a CBDC this year. UK said they're coming out with their CBDC this year in terms of test payments. A lot of countries are coming out with CBDCs this year, which means we're going to also have social credit systems, maybe in small groups this year. So ESG is quite a big topic inside the crypto space, believe it or not, for governments and institutions and so on. So here it is. And there is a few crypto projects that fit into the category of ESG. Crypto and ESG in 2025. New perspectives on sustainable investments. You know, the whole speech about the world is, heating up, the planet is heating up, and we need to save the planet. You know that, good old saying. Even though the people that tell us the planet is heating up and the planet needs savings are the exact same people who take private jets to a meeting to tell the entire world that the planet is heating up. Well, instead, they could just sit in their own houses and do a Zoom call if they really cared about the planet. But no, they want to take a private jet to the middle of Switzerland to tell the entire world to save the planet and walk everywhere. But those types of people. So here it is. In an area where sustainability is increasing, prioritized, of cryptocurrencies and ESG, environmental, social, and governance, social credit systems, principles in creating new pathways for responsible investments. By the way, ESG has been a thing inside the corporate sector for a very long time, but now it's becoming a thing for the public sector as well, the retail sector. Principles is creating as new pathways for responsible investments. As blockchain technology matures, it offers opportunities to align with ESG goals while addressing environmental essential concerns and promoting social responsibility. By 2025, the insertion of cryptocurrencies and ESG will likely redefine the investment landscape. ESG is a framework that essentially evaluates investments based on their environmental impact. The environmental impact on essentially social contributions and governance practices. It has become essentially a very key criteria for investors seeking sustainable and ethical opportunities. As global initiatives push for a greener and more exclusive economy, ESG principles are shaping how businesses, including those inside the crypto space, operate in terms of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and offering a unique advantages that align with ESG values. From decentralization and transparency to promoting financial inclusion, the crypto industry is poised to make meaningful contributions to their ESG agendas. One of the most debated aspects of cryptocurrencies in their essentially environmental footprint, traditional proof of work (POW) mechanisms like those used by Bitcoin require significant energy. Critics often highlight the carbon emissions associated with mining operations. To address these concerns, many projects are transitioning to proof of stake and other energy-efficient consensus mechanisms. Ethereum's move to POS has set a precedent, reducing its energy consumption by over 99%. Additionally, renewable energy powered mining initiatives are gaining traction, showcasing essentially the industry's commitment to sustainability. Cryptocurrencies are not just about technology, they are about people. By enabling financial inclusion, blockchain can provide access to banking services for essentially unserved populations. Decentralized finance platforms are empowering individuals in developing regions to participate in the global economy without traditional intermediaries. However, challenges remain. The rise of essentially scams and lack of regulatory clarity pose a risk to trust and essentially looking after the retail section, institutional section. Ensuring ethical practices and transparency in crypto projects will be critical to fulfilling social responsibility goals. Blockchain's inherent transparency and essentially makes it a more powerful tool enhancing governance. Decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, are revolutionizing how decisions are made, allowing for community-driven governance that aligns with ESG principles. However, integrating traditional governance structures with decentralized systems requires careful plannings. Striking a balance between efficiency and decentralization will be key to achieving sustainable governance models. The rise of ESG compliant tokens and blockchain projects offers new avenues for responsible investments. Initiatives like tokenized carbon credits enabling businesses to offset their environmental impacts. Sustainability-focused cryptocurrencies, such as those funding renewable energy projects, are gaining traction among ESG consensus investors. Emerging investment funds are now focusing on synergy between ESG and essentially crypto, providing investors with diversified portfolios that align with their values. By the way, on the topic of essentially cryptocurrencies such as those funding renewable energy projects are gaining traction among ESG consensus investors. Ripple is one of the biggest funders for ESG, and companies love that. Every major institution has an ESG number, and basically, as an ESG report, essentially, Ripple is one of the biggest players when it comes to ESG from the crypto side. For in terms of carbon footprints and so on, Ripple plays a massive role. And companies love that. Institutions love that. So do governments. Emerging investment funds are now focusing on the synergy between ESG and crypto. Institutions now focus on these two factors, ESG connected to crypto. Who plays the biggest role? Ripple. Providing investors with diversified portfolios that align with their values. Who aligns with the values of institutions? Ripple. While the potential for alignments and vast challenges remain, regulatory frameworks for ESG compliance in crypto are still underdeveloped. Greenwashing concerns highlighting the need for authentic and verifiable ESG claims, and balancing innovation with ethical, sustainable practices is a continuous effort. By 2025, the integration of ESG principles into the crypto industry could redefine sustainable investments. With advancements in technology and growing awareness, the crypto space has the potential to address environmental challenges and promote inclusivity and revolutionize governance. To achieve this, the collaboration among investors and developers and regulators will be essential. The future of crypto and ESG lies in fostering a shared commitment to sustainability, transparency, and social impacts, paving the way for responsible and innovative digital economies. The reason why Ripple plays a big essentially role inside the ESG space is because they've been donating quite a lot to offset their carbon footprints, and they've been creating some sort of carbon footprint projects as well for institutions to get involved in Ripple itself. But yeah, Ripple plays a massive role when it comes to ESG and crypto. ESG is going to be connected to crypto. It's the whole point of it. It's a social credit system for institutions, essentially. That's been around for quite a while. Companies get told what to do, and if companies listen when they're told on what to do, then their ESG essentially numbers are high, which means when it's time for them to get paid out on loans, they get paid out quite well. So if you ever wondered to yourself, in the past, why did, for example, Budweiser ruin themselves? Because of their ESG. Or why did any other company ruin themselves and make their stocks completely plummet? It was because of their ESG numbers. It's like a social credit system for institutions. It has been around for a while. Now, ESG is going to be connected to crypto. So a social credit system for crypto, essentially. But yeah, if you ever wondered to yourself, why do companies decide one day to just randomly plummet their own stocks, knowing what they're going to do is going to damage their company's future? Well, they're doing it because of their ESG numbers. Because if they don't listen, then they get essentially lower rankings on ESG. If they get lower rankings on ESG, even though ESG is about saving the planet and ESG is about carbon footprints and, you know, essentially windmills and solar panels. In reality, ESG is just a way for institutions to be controlled, companies to be controlled and told what to do by other big corporations. So they title it as green powerhouses and windmills and solar panels and sun energy and so on. But in reality, it's just about control. Everything is about control. They just title it different. And that's about to come to crypto. So a social credit system for cryptocurrencies. And who plays the biggest role inside the ESG space? Ripple. Is that a positive thing? Yes, exceptionally. Because the world's going to go towards that anyways. And 2025 is going to be the year we go into regulations and ESGs and CBDCs and social credit systems. Who plays the biggest role in that again? Ripple. Now, moving on essentially from ESGs and social credit systems and so on, which Ripple will be playing the biggest role. Honestly, this year is going to be the year of XRP. This year, next year, so on and so on. Every year is going to be the year of XRP starting this year. It's going to be the year of XRP, XLM, and XDC, and HRO, and ADA, and so on, starting this year and continuing forward. Now, Crypto.com is what we're going to be talking about next. Moving away from ESGs and so on, social credit systems for companies, to Crypto.com. Crypto.com essentially, I talked about how Crypto.com is moving away, not just offering crypto services, but also going to be slowly offering stocks, derivatives, and ETFs, and so many other things which essentially Crypto.com wants to offer. Crypto.com wants to become an everything app inside the digital world. And I talked about this last year. So today we have news from Crypto.com. And I said this is a positive note, not only for Crypto.com, the blockchain space in general, but also a positive note for Crypto.com's token, CRO, if you are somebody that's holding it out there. Crypto.com starts stocks and ETF trading for US users, which is incredible. Cryptocurrency platform Crypto.com is making a big splash by launching stocks and ETF trading for users in select US states. This marks a significant step beyond their core crypto offerings, allowing users to manage traditional investments alongside their crypto holdings within the same app. Initially available in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Washington, and Arizona, the services boost zero commission and fractional essentially shares, making it easier for investors of all levels to participate. Crypto.com plans to roll out the service nationwide soon. To the incentive users and essentially adoptions, they're offering a limited time bonus of up to 3% for transferring existing essential securities into the app. This move aligns with their broader strategy of bridging the gap between traditional finance and the crypto world. Looking ahead, Crypto.com plans to essentially further expand their offerings with stock options and trading and foreign exchange commodities and even index derivatives. These additions are expected to arrive later in 2025. It's important to note that Crypto.com recently dropped its lawsuits against the US SEC. The lawsuit challenged the SEC's authority over certain digital assets, and the decision to drop the lawsuit follows a meeting with Crypto.com's CEO and Donald Trump. Well, there's a reason essentially why Crypto.com did drop the case regarding the SEC, because there was no point suing the SEC. We have a new president, we're going to get a new SEC chairman, so there's no point suing the SEC anymore. And yeah, if you are somebody that's got CRO token, CRO's future, Crypto.com's future, and CRO's the token for Crypto.com's future is going to be exceptionally massive by the looks of it. Because Crypto.com has just opened its doors to become a massive player, not only inside the crypto space, but also inside the traditional market space. And it's only available in a few states right now in America, but they are going to be going nationwide soon and worldwide soon as well. So definitely check it out. Now, before we go for the next news, which is regarding the Fed President Richmond, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any comments, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions you may have. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section. before we go to the next news. Elon will be using Stellar XLM because it was created for the public. Fair enough. Regarding X payments. Hi, Miles and family. Alex, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Miles, are you still positive on Radix, VioSafe, and SDEX? I would say positive on Radix, VioSafe, and SDX are volatile. That's what I would say. How will crypto help us? How will crypto help us if we're under control through CBDCs? Good question. So MQ has asked the question of how will essentially how is crypto going to help us if we are under the control of CBDCs? Well, because if we're living in a CBDC world, if you have crypto assets, the world isn't just going to be operating in terms of just CBDCs. The world is going to be operating in a digital space, which means we're going to have crypto alongside CBDCs. It's not going to be cash or fiat, in other words, alongside CBDCs. The world we're heading towards is actually going to be CBDCs alongside crypto is where we're heading towards. The reasonings of how crypto is going to be beneficial in a CBDC world is because CBDCs in general, everybody's going to get a CBDC wallet if you have crypto, if you don't have crypto. But CBDCs in general were designed to control peasants. And when I say peasants, I'm in the same category as well. If you don't own $100 billion company and sit at the World Economic Forum, then you're a peasant just like me, because I don't sit at the World Economic Forum. I've never been in the World Economic Forum meeting in my life. So I'm a peasant in that category as well. So CBDCs were designed for peasants. Now, the reasons why they have an alternative and why they would have an alternative and have cryptocurrencies work alongside CBDCs is because the most rich and powerful people on this planet, in terms of the World Economic Forum, in terms of the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of International Settlements, and the list goes on, they don't want to control each other. They want to control us. So that means they need to have an alternative of a payment system. And if you're intelligent enough, you could be a part of the alternative payment system, which is crypto assets. If you're not intelligent enough, you're just going to be holding CBDCs and you're going to be controlled for the rest of your life. So that's the whole point of having crypto. Crypto is going to actually work alongside CBDCs because the point of CBDCs is to control us. And they don't want to control each other. They just want to control us. So they need to have an alternative payment system. The alternative payment system is crypto. But it's not every crypto project. It's a handful of crypto projects that will be running the show. So that is how crypto is going to help you. Because if you're intelligent enough, you could be also using the alternative payment system. If you're not intelligent enough, you're going to be stuck on CBDCs. Because they don't want to control each other. They just want to control us. Miles, besides crypto, do you diversify with any gold or silver or platinum? Yes, gold. Miles, do you own any shares in stocks? Do I own any shares in stocks? Not anymore, no. All commodities? No. Well, technically, yes, but no. Not on a digital sense. Hello, how you doing, Pantery? If I pronounce your name wrong, I'm sorry about that. XLM is a currency and XRP is a financial bridge for bankers. That's correct, yes. So we should cash out crypto for fiat. What? So we should cash out crypto for fiat. No. Shouldn't sell. So, okay, yeah. So we shouldn't sell crypto for fiat. Yes, exactly. Yes. Miles, I have 1,000 XLM. Is this enough? That's a great amount. But yeah, you shouldn't. Obviously not financial advice, but you shouldn't do that. Yes, exactly. You're right. You shouldn't do that. Because, look, cryptocurrency is going to work alongside CBDCs. There's just an alternative payment system for people who don't want to be controlled. And they don't want to control each other. They just want to control us. We're the peasants in this scenario, to be fairly honest. Now, Richmond Fed president is what we're going to talk about next. Richmond Fed President Thomas Borken speaks out on the U.S. economy. Now, the Fed has talked about the U.S. economy, as always, and said, we're going towards our targets. It's going to be a stressful and slow progress, and we might be doing rate cuts. We might not be doing rate cuts, and so on. It's the same speech they normally give. But they're a little bit different this time. Richmond Fed President Thomas Barkin struck an optimistic tone today, a very optimistic tone coming from the Fed today, predicting a positive economic outlook for the United States through 2025. A positive outlook is what the Fed is saying is going to be happening this year, and indicating a growth is more likely to have an upside potential despite ongoing certainties regarding the policies of the new Trump administration. Even though essentially, NBCN News and CBN News and The View and whatever news channel there are in America that will tell you, Donald Trump is going to ruin the American economy. Well, one brave person from the Fed stood up and said, no, Donald Trump is actually going to be fixing the American economy. Speaking at the Maryland Bankers Association, Barkin said the resilience of the labor markets and the consumer spendings were key drivers of his optimism. How the economic policies and uncertainties resolves will be essentially more important, but I expect growth to be more bullish than bearish this year, given essentially that we know today, he said. However, he cautioned that stronger hirings could pose a risk on inflation's front. Barkin said the labor market is more likely to shift towards hiring than laying off, reflecting confidence in the economy's momentum as we enter the new year. You know why hiring essentially is going to be happening rather than laying off people? Because Trump is going to fix the economy, which means when he does fix the economy, more companies are going to be paying less taxes. And when companies pay less taxes, corporate tax, it means that they have more money to hire more people. It's not rocket science, it's just basic. But obviously, the Biden's administration of circus freaks and anybody else that essentially supports Biden is too incompetent to realize how the world actually operates. They think all corporates are greedy, which they are in a sense. But if corporates didn't exist, you wouldn't have a job. And if you didn't have a job, you couldn't feed your family or yourself. Just basic. And if corporates pay less tax, even though the news would tell you, corporates paying less tax, how can they pay less tax? When corporates pay less tax, they have more money spending inside the company. If a corporation has more money spending inside their company, it means that they have more money to invest within their company, or hire more people, or pay more bonuses. But when corporations pay higher taxes, where does that tax money go to? Does the tax money go back into the people's pockets? No. It goes into Zelensky's pocket in Ukraine from America. Honestly. I don't know how much brainwashing it was done. I'm very confused on how much brainwashing was done that people assume automatically, not just in the US, to point this out, not just in the US, but every country, the retail section, the majority of the retail section from every country just assumes when the government says corporations should pay more tax, everybody, the majority of people inside of the retail section from every jurisdiction around the world just assumes when the government says corporations should pay more tax, people cheer and go, yay, corporations should pay more tax, assuming that when corporations pay more tax, that money is going to go inside your pockets. When has any money, and I mean any money, entered your pockets? Instead, money has been outflowing out of your pockets since the day you were born. Not a single money, not a single penny has been inflowing into your pockets. It's only been outflows. So I don't know why people even presume for a second when any politician comes out and goes, corporations pay more tax, and people cheer and go, yay, as if that money is going to enter your pockets. Has it ever entered your pockets? No. So what do you assume this time is going to be different? That money enters the government's pockets, which then enters Zelensky's pockets in Ukraine. So next time any politician stands up and goes, corporations should pay their fair share should pay their fair share of taxes. And if you cheer on the subject of corporations paying more tax, you're a moron. You're genuinely a moron if you cheer that corporations should pay more tax. Because if they do pay more tax, you're never going to see a penny from that money. Because that money is going to go straight into the government's pocket and then end up in Zelensky's pocket. Or somebody like Zelensky. So next time somebody, essentially says, any politician says, vote for me because corporations have to pay their fair share of tax, don't cheer. If you cheer, you're a moron. Now, Borken said the labor markets is more likely to shift towards the hirings than the layoffs. We know why. Because companies will have more money, because under Trump, they're paying less taxes, which means they can hire more people. Basic common sense on that matter. The labor markets looks to set to shift towards hiring rather than laying off. And then Borken also pointed out to the growing confidence in the financial market space as investors adjust the Fed's outlook for a slower pace of rates in terms of rate cuts in 2025. Markets appear to have accepted that the long-term interest rates are not going to fall as much as some had hoped, Borken said, and the Fed has taken a cautious approach by cutting its benchmark policy rates by a total of 1% essentially at the point of this final 3 meetings in 2024. The rate was cut by a quarter point of December meetings, but the policymakers are projecting a modest cut of only half a percentage point in 2025. Citing stalled inflation progress and uncertainties over the new administration's trade, tax, and immigration policies. While Borken won't have a vote on the Fed's interest rate policies this year, his comments are consistent with the broader central bank narrative, caution, optimism about inflation risk. So the Fed, one brave man from the Fed stood up and said, you know what? 2025 is actually going to be a great year because companies will have more money to hire more people and there'll be less layoffs. People will have jobs. The economy will be boosting. All of that is why? Trump. Corporates pay less tax. Something that Kamala was fighting for and saying corporates should pay more tax. If corporates paid more tax, more people will be jobless under Kamala, as they were more people jobless under Biden. Even though the numbers would have told you Biden had the most hiring progress ever. Where? Honestly, the way they brainwash people in this world is comical. It's very comedy. It's like watching Minions. Honestly, when I watch people like the Kamala supporters, it's like watching Minions. They just say anything and their minions start cheering. Now, China. It's like the UK as well, to be fairly honest. For example, the UK needs money. The British government needs money. And the British government has had pretty much zero growth. The UK has had zero growth. There are countries, but in general, the UK government has had zero growth in terms of that. So the British government, for example, needs money. How do they get the money? Where do they get the money? Well, instead of cutting corners on their own expenses and sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, no, they decided to say farmers in the UK need to pay more tax. They said farmers in the UK need to pay more tax because farmers are not paying their fair share of tax. And the retail section inside the UK said, yes, why are farmers not paying their tax? Let's just presume for a second that farmers in the UK pay their tax. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think you're going to see that any money from the farmers as a retail person? Do you think you're going to save money because the farmers are paying more tax? Do not even presume for a second that if the farmers paid more tax, then that more money goes towards the government, which will again end up in Zelensky's pocket in Ukraine. They're just, basically the people for a second, just for a split second, people started looking up and saying, why are we paying so much tax? Why is the prices so high? And the government said, look at the farmers. The farmers aren't paying their tax. It's the farmers' fault. So then the people went head to head with the farmers in the UK. And while the government was on top of them, just laughing at them, going, look at these morons, going at it. Honestly, there are people right now protesting and saying, why are farmers not paying their tax? If farmers pay their tax, it's not going to make a single difference. If farmers paid all of their tax, it would still make a single difference. That money will never reach your pockets. Interesting, isn't it? People started realizing for a split second, why are we paying so many high prices? People started looking up and going, Why are we paying so many high prices? Why are groceries so high? Why is gas so high? Why is tax so high? And the government said, look at farmers. Farmers aren't paying their tax. That's the problem. It's farmers not paying their tax. Forget about we wasted billions of dollars. We wasted billions of dollars sent to Ukraine. Never mind that. Farmers don't pay their tax. It's the farmers' fault. So people started going, yeah, farmers should pay their tax. Honestly, this world is an interesting one. Genuinely, the world is a very interesting place. Now, China. China's financial crisis is deepening, is what we talk about next. But there's a positive note in it. Before we do that, let's go to the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So should we cash out? No. Okay, we were here. More is better. Yep. Miles is 1,000. Yep, more is better. Hold tight, brothers and sisters. This is not happy days, but into Bitcoin from day one. And this I see a option in XRP against CBDCs and give yourselves and families a safety net, please, brothers and sisters. Yes, I agree 100% with what One Love has said. Forget the Lamborghinis and concentrate on your safety. Yes, facts. Let's get One Love. Never underestimate the power of brainwashing, though. Facts. The amount of brainwashing that happens in this world on a daily basis is incredible. Honestly, when I sometimes sit back and watch the rest of the world, it's like theater. Just watching how regular people get manipulated so easily is actually comical. It's very comedy. Is there going to be a universal basic income? And if so, what will everyone be doing for work? Well, you've just answered your own question, Em. So you said, is there going to be a universal basic income? And if so, what will everyone do for work? Well, if there's a universal basic income, then that means nobody will have a job. So yes, there is going to be a universal basic income, which has already launched in the UK and other countries around the world as well. As everybody becomes jobless very soon because of AI, because of robotics and so on. So there's so many factors in play of why people will become jobless very soon as the years go through. And when everybody becomes jobless, everybody needs money still, correct? You still want money because you have to pay, to eat, to sleep, and so on. There's so many, things that you have to buy and so on. So everybody will eventually become jobless. Everybody will eventually be on some sort of universal basic income. Even people who might be slightly wealthy because they didn't position themselves correctly inside a digital space. So everybody being on the universal income stage is what they want, believe it or not. The governments want all of you to be on some sort of universal income situation. Because when you're all jobless and getting only money from the government, it's easier for them to control you, especially if your money is digital, especially if that digital money is CBDCs. So you're jobless because you lost your job to AI or robotics, but now you need money. So the government goes, well, we have a plan. It's called universal basic income. Everybody can join. You join. Later on, that universal basic income slowly becomes CBDCs. And then it becomes, if you speak or say something we don't like, well, we're going to just press a button and pretty much stop everything on you. So we're heading towards a digital prison, just most people can't see it. So this is why I say you got to position yourselves correctly, okay? There is a positive out of all this bad negative scenario. And the positiveness is position yourselves correctly for crying out loud. Look, XRP will be a backbone of financial systems, especially for CBDCs, okay? So being in XRP is key priority. Look into XRP if you already haven't. Not financial advice in any sort of a way, but if you haven't looked into it, look into XRP. It's a key priority. XLM, key priority. XDC, key priority. HBOR, key priority. And there's a few other ones as well, but those are the main key priorities here. But if you spent your golden ages inside the crypto space chasing dreams instead of chasing reality, and you get stuck on CBDCs, good luck. Honestly, in a CBDC world, good luck. It's basically a digital prison. but you just don't know you're heading that way. So on the question of, is there going to be universal basic income? Yes. And what is everybody going to do for work? Nothing. Just a matter of control. Just a digital prison. But if you have crypto, you could be one step above the peasants, basically. You're still considered a peasant by the other people, on top of you, but you'll be one step above the normal peasants. Or the actual peasants. Is there going to... manipulation is rife? Yep, facts. Let's go, one love. I missed the answer to my question last time. Here it is. Looking at a plane crashes all over the place, does it make us a target if we're to fly, the fact they have our wallet addresses? I don't think they're personally targeting people because of your wallet addresses, and the plane crashes are not scenarios in any sort of a way. But the plane crash, whenever I see a plane crash, I always ask the question of who is on the plane, because that's the only way I can find out why the plane crashed. A normal person would say, a regular person would say, oh, because of engine failure, let me look into it and so on. My number one question is who's on the plane. But on that basis of who's on the plane, it's not, I don't think they're targeting people based on their crypto wallet addresses, no. Even though it might be public information, I don't think, but nothing's, out of bounds for these people. We pay that much tax. We are paying tax on taxes. Facts. Let's go, one love. On yesterday's live, you were talking about countries needing liquidity. What does that mean? Banks need liquidity a lot. Governments need liquidity right now. So something has to come in to bring new revenue streams to the table. The digital space is what's going to bring revenue streams to the table. Very interesting indeed. Yeah. Slowly people are starting to wake up. Yeah. Let's go, Shelley. Let's go, Ray. A bit of a clue of how benefits in the UK become universal credits. Yep. It's true. In the UK, it used to be called benefits. Now it's called universal credits. I wonder why. Will Mexico have universal basic income? Everywhere will have it. Good morning, Miles and CMF. Ghost Runner, good to see you. Well, how you doing? Miles, some people will have to work. How will they eat, etc.? Nobody will be working. You just be getting universal basic income. So universal basic income will essentially be paying you for your food and so on. You will own nothing and be happy is the reasonings of, because you won't be able to afford anything on universal income except food and rent. So I will be like Bridgerton's law. Let's go, Stormy. Brother. Let's go, one love. No one can get into your wallet, though. If only you have seed phrases in regards to flying, then they can't access it. That's true as well. Yep. Nobody can access your wallet unless they have the seed phrases. Now, China. We all know China is going through some sort of a global crisis situation. The bubble, for example, in China is... The economic crisis bubble is a real estate market space situation. And as I said, China is skimming, essentially, just sideswiping their essentially economic crisis bubble. And Russia's got a bubble crisis as well. So is France, so is Germany, so is the US, so is the UK. Every country's got some bubble situation going on, economic crisis, which they're just side passing slowly. And, well, China's financial crisis deepens. Now, economists expect a recession. China's economy is unraveling right before our very eyes. The 10-year government bond yields just ranked below 1.60% for the first time ever, sending a clear message: this is no ordinary slowdown. Investors are ditching Chinese bonds, and who can blame them? While the US bonds yields shoot up, China's plummets, widening the gap to a record of 296 points. That means risk-free US investments now pay nearly 300 basic points more than their Chinese counterparts. What's worse is that China is neck-deep in deflation, a condition far more destructive than the inflation essentially gripping the US. Failing prices erode profits, stifle wages, and essentially hammer economic growth. Add in a curbing real estate market that has wiped out $18 trillion in wealth since 2021, and the cracks in China's economy, essentially facade, are impossible to ignore. China's real estate sector was once a gold mine. Now it's a black hole. Since 2021, property values have plunged, erasing $18 trillion in wealth, and according to Barclays Bank, the high yields real estate index, which tracks risky debt in the sector, has collapsed by over 80% from its peak. Home sales have fallen off a cliff, down more than 50% in just 3 years. For context, this is worse than what happened in the US during the 2008 financial crisis. China is going through a much more worse crisis than 2008. And it's not just home buyers feeling the heat. Private sector debt in China has skyrocketed, surpassing 200% of their GDP for the first time ever. That's about 70 percentage points higher than the peak of 2008. In contrast, the US has actually reduced private sector debt since then. Desperate to stop the bleeding, China launched a series of packages and measures in late 2024. They cut reserve requirements by 0.5%, slashed mortgage rates, and pumped $142 billion into banks. Beijing also dropped the 7-day reverse repo rate by 0.2% and initiated what it called forceful rate cuts. But none of this has been enough to fix the deeper issues. Even the government's budget is strict and is stretched to its limits. The deficient essentially project is to hit 4% of their GDP in 2025, the highest since essentially 1994. For years, Beijing had a self-imposed cap of 3%, a rule that is now willing to break in an attempt to prop up their economy. China's problems aren't just internal. Trump, back in the White House, has vowed to crank up socialist tariffs and has vowed to crack up the tariffs of Chinese imports to 60%. If he follows through, that would shrink a $575 billion trade pipeline to almost nothing, according to Bloomberg. The effects will be devastating for China's export-reliant economy. Meanwhile, Beijing is betting big on gold. Gold prices have soared to record highs as China buys in bulk. Analysts see this as a hedge against instability, but it's a strategy that signals a lack of faith in their other recovery options. The economic pain is also amplifying essentially inequality, and while 32% of China's population has joined the middle class by 2021, other half still live in economic industries and insecurities. And global markets aren't immune to China's meltdown. Equities, commodities, and bond yields worldwide are embracing for ripple effects. Keyword there. The $411 billion in special treasury bonds China plans to issue in 2025 might provide some relief, but skepticism is high. Okay. One thing. This whole thing about China and they're going through an economic crisis situation is actually a good thing. And China having high tariffs, Trump putting high tariffs on China, again, slightly a good thing as well. Because China is going through an economic crisis, which means it's going to be difficult for China to start a war with Taiwan. Especially if Trump puts tariffs on China, then that means China is not going to be able to start a war with Taiwan, because they're going through an economic crisis. If they start a war, then their country is going to go into a much more deeper economic crisis situation. So here's the positives. One, China won't be able to start a war because they're going through an economic crisis. Two, when Trump puts tariffs on China, they're definitely not going to start a war. And three, when China does go through an economic crisis, what do you think is going to be used as an alternative asset? Crypto. Now, gold as well, but crypto alongside it. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Russia. But before we talk about Russia, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any comments, put it outside the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And also on the topic of China as well, and China's economic crisis situation. China thought they can make it big with the whole BRICS thing. That didn't really go to plan because everybody started going back to the US dollars because now Trump's coming into power. Now, Miles, someone called Crypto Foxy says XLM brokers resistance and will go high to Q1. Is this true? XLM will do quite well, yes. In general this year, I would have to say. Universal basic income is going lay on election or vote. For example, if you vote for us, you will have universal basic income. The other way is no. True. Pretty much, yeah. Now, Russia. What Kali said is pretty much true. Russia's new bill forces banks and businesses to use, guess what? Russian CBDC, digital route. Remember when Russia came out and said, just like any other country around the world, CBDCs optional. If you want to use CBDCs, completely optional. It's not forced in any sort of a way. We're not going to force people to use CBDCs. We're not going to force businesses or banks to use CBDCs. CBDCs optional. Now, they're singing a different tune. CBDCs optional? No, CBDCs are forced now under new legislation. What did I say? Russia State Durham has introduced a bill that requires banks and merchants, in other words, businesses, any business, to use the digital route. It's forced now. Russia's central bank digital currency, CBDC. The bill also mandates banks and merchants to implement a universal QR code system for payments. Russia's push for the digital route adoption starts from July 1st, 2025. Remember also when Russia said they're coming up with CBDCs in 2035 and then 2030? And every year they kept on reducing it. Every year I kept on saying they're lying to you until they got to 2025. And I said, yep, that makes more sense. It will be first implemented with its systematically important banks that will focus on national economic stability, and then will expand to all banks by 2027. I wonder why by 2027. Is it because Santander Bank, HSBC Bank, Barclays Bank, HSBC Bank, and the list of other banks that I've all mentioned, by 2027, there's going to be no more banks on the high street. So is that why their target of end date is pretty much 2027 for a full CBDC happening? And 1st of July this year, CBDC starting. Merchants are also expected to embrace digital routes to boost public adoption of digital routes. The merchants, the business people, the business members. If you own a cafe, if you own anything, if you own a family business or whatever, you're forced in Russia to show how CBDCs are a great thing. You know, it's an amazing thing, CBDCs. Again, they said it wasn't forced. CBDCs, when they were first being introduced, was optional. You know, if you want to use it, if you don't want to use it, but now it seems a bit different. By July 2025, business merchants with annual revenues of over 30 million rubles must allow digital route payments. With the threshold down to 20 million rubles by July 2026, the bill will exempt businesses operating in areas without mobile or internet. Notably, the proposal will also implement a universal QR code system for a seamless digital route payment system. The bill is also in sync with amendments to consumer protection laws that makes it necessary for merchants to comply with the digital route use. The bill essentially dictates that digital route transfers include payments to businesses, notaries, lawyers must use a QR code unless alternative methods are introduced by the digital route platform. These transfers will be implemented by credit institutions and foreign bank branches operating in the platform. As per the bill, the National Payment Card System, the NSPK, would be responsible for implementing the Universal Payment Code. The move was led by several senators and deputies, including Antonio, head of the Duma Committee, head of the Duma Committee on Financial Markets. The bill has officially been submitted to the lower house's electronic database. So we went from CBDCs optional to you have no choice but to use CBDCs, something that I said would happen 2 years ago. I said 2 years, pretty much, you know, in 2024, 2023 as well. I was saying the exact same things, essentially, of how the world is going to operate moving forward and so on, and how things are going to be. To the T, everything I've said, to the exact dot, to the exact full stop, is pretty much in motion. What happened in Russia regarding forcing people to use CBDCs is pretty much going to be happening worldwide. Every single one of your jurisdictions is going to be coming out with CBDCs either this year or next year. Majority will be this year, and whoever doesn't release CBDCs this year will come out next year, as I said previously. And when they do come out, before they come out with CBDCs, they will say it's optional. When they do come out with CBDCs, they will say you have no choice but to use CBDCs. And by then, there'll be less bank branches on high streets and less cash points on high streets. By 2027, there'll be no more banks on high streets and no more cash points on high streets, which means you're all in the digital world. So on that positive side of this matter, which is a very negative one, the positive side of this is position yourselves correctly. The backbone of CBDCs, whether you like hearing it or whether you don't, the backbone of CBDCs is XRP. That is what the backbone of CBDCs is. So whether you like it or you don't like hearing it, this is why the truth hurts. The backbone of CBDCs is XRP. That is what the backbone of CBDCs is. So if you have a look at the XRP, go look at it, because we are so close to a CBDC world, and you don't want to get left behind. Genuinely don't want to get left behind. Otherwise, you're going to be in some sort of a digital prison without you realizing it. And on that topic, all good things must come to an end, which they already have now. So this was the endings of tonight's live. If you tune in for the first time ever, this was the CMF live. If you're wondering to yourself, what is this? Who am I? This is the CMF live. It stands for Crypto Mouse Family CMF. And this is episode 234 of the CMF live. Episode 234 you're watching right now. And my name is Miles. I go by the persona of Crypto Mouse, and I host this show that you're watching right now. And on this live, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding how the world is completely transforming right before your eyes into a digital space. And the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. And if you're watching this for the first time ever, drop us, if you haven't already, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like. If you're watching this on X, follow me, comment, share, retweet, like as well if you do get a chance. Everything I do is completely free of source. I don't charge a single penny. I've never charged a single penny in general, but everything I do is completely free of source. So all I ask in return, because I have a free Telegram group, I do this live show for free Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards, Monday to Friday. And everything I do in return, all I ask for is like, comment, share, retweet. That's all I ask for. You can message me for free. You can contact me for free. Just let me know 30 minutes before. You can follow. You can join into this live show for free. You can join Telegram group for free. You can join the communities page on X for free. And all I ask in return is like, comment, share, retweet, and subscribe. That's all I ask in general. And I've been doing this for about 3+ years now, on essentially doing a live show on crypto and so on. But yeah, tune in Monday, because this live is Monday to Friday, and today is pretty much Saturday now because it's 1:30 a.m. But tune in Monday, 11:25 p.m. onwards UK time. Follow me if you already haven't. Let's go start the conversation first before we do go off. Yeah, time to fly CMF. Miles, good stuff as always. Love it. Good night, all sempre. Let's see you tomorrow. See you on Monday, same time as usual. Yes, Miles, thoughts on gas was going up, was flying, still waiting. Yes, Miles, good day, sir. What you think of Nate Gas, NXT? Jack, direct message related, take a look at it. Great live, have a great weekend, Miles and CMF. Take care all. Let's go. Ray, see you, brother, on Monday, same time as usual. Good night, Mal. Good night. Happy New Year's. God bless. Golden Dragon. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Good night and Happy New Year's as well. Thanks for another brilliant live stream. Great appreciated. Thompson, let's go. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Good night, Miles and all CMF. Thank you for all the news and great live. Let's go, JP. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Thanks again, Miles. Good night, CMF. Ginos. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Let's go. Thoughts on MDT? Good in terms of data projects. Thanks for an amazing live, brother. Let's go, Camel. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Amazing as always. Thank you, Miles. Good night, all. Lena, let's go. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Thompson, let's go. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Thanks, Legend. Love your work. Night and day. CMF. Shelly, see you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Please see DM. I will come up, no problem. Good night, Brother Miles and CMF. Cali, see you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Good night, brother. Have a great weekend, Miles, and see you next Monday. Thanks for another great live. Let's go autistic. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Good night, Miles and CMF. Great live. See you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Let's go. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Thanks, Miles. Great night, CMF. Stormy, see you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Great night, everyone. Bullock Soppy, see you on Monday, same time as usual. Thanks, Miles, and good night, CMF. Orphan, see you on Monday, same time as usual. Shakira, thanks. Let's go. See you on Monday, same time as usual. Thank you, Miles. Have a great weekend, everyone. Go Spinner, let's go. See you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Miles, you are a standard for how leaders should be on YouTube and X. Scott, thank you so much for the kind words, brother. Honestly, and I'll see you on Monday, same time as usual as well. Good night, Miles, and see you on Monday. Funky brother, see you on Monday, same time as usual. Great job, Miles. Scott, let's go. Good night, Miles. Abdul, let's go as well. Denise, let's go. See you on Monday, same time as usual. Abdul, see you Monday, same time as usual as well. Good night, YouTube. Good night, YouTube on Miles. Miles, you are the greatest. Keep up your great efforts to help others. Let's go, Scott. I'll see everybody on Monday, same timing as usual, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. Tune in Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards, for the latest news on cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, and regulations. If you haven't followed, follow. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, share, retweet. See everybody on Monday, same time as usual, 11:25 p.m. Have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. CMF, see you on Monday, same time as usual. Share the live. I'm glad to be in the family. Let's go, Scott. Goat, aka Miles. Let's go, Scott. See you on Monday, same time as usual.